Britt Smart can put the icing on the cake with a triple. Sure, Mabry, the dagger, boom!
Nicholson, the go-ahead bucket. Townsville complete the comeback of the season.
The second leg of today's triple header to close out round 9 takes us to Adelaide, the Lights Community and Sports Centre, home of the Adelaide Lightning. Top of the table, just one loss for the year. They're on a 5-game winning streak, and they take on the UC Capitals, who had a dominant win over the Sydney Uni Flames in their last game. The 9-time champions sitting 4th on the WNBL table. They are 5 wins from 3 games, and this game promises to be an absolute belter. Two of the best teams in the comp. Good afternoon. Sam Hargraves joined by former Opal and WNBL star Jenny Screen. Hello.
Hello. I'm excited for this one. 2 teams with 2 stellar coaches with massive experience, and I no doubt these girls will be prepared for a great hit out today.
A lot of big names wherever you look, and Adelaide Lightning, after losing their opening game of the year, and we were so fascinated to see just how this Alana Smith-Steph Talbot combination would work. Well, they have answered us very, very unequivocally that this is a force to be reckoned with, this team, and they've got balance all over the place as well. It's great to watch.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought at the start of the season they were a little bit top-heavy, but they've made me eat my words, and I think Steph Talbot is in MVP form, the way she's able to fill up the stat sheets, not only in points, but assists and rebounds as well. And then Alana Smith, she's had a few years with injuries, and it's nice to see her come into the WNBL now, find her form under the tutelage of Chris Lucas, and that is great, also leading into the Opals World Cup, hopefully in August for her.
They got pushed all the way by gritty Townsville Fireside in their last outing, and they got home in overtime, but it wasn't easy for them. They'll take a lot of heart out of that win, an 8-point win. Smith had 21 points, 11 rebounds, and Talbot had 13 points, 6 assists, and 9 rebounds.
Yeah, there's that MVP form we were talking about, her ability to fill up the stat sheets. Not only does she do it on the offensive end, she is a menace on the defensive end. I love the way she grinds it out. For me, she is almost the defensive player of the year thus far, and a main pillar of as to why these girls are on the top of the ladder. But to win in Townsville against Townsville is never, ever easy. You got to deal with the public, the spectators, and then you've also got to deal with the heat up in Townsville. And they've got a great team. They're led very well by Shannon Seabohm, and make no mistake, they will also be a team pushing for the top 4 come the finals.
UC Capitals a much different lead into this game, Jenny. They were very comfortable 32-point winners over the Sydney Uni Flames, and it was probably their most potent they've looked offensively all year.
And a need they really, really needed, because with that win, remember rounds 8 and 7, that was a bit tumultuous for them. They came to Victoria, only played 2 out of their 3 games because they were postponed. Didn't have the greatest one at home for Kelly Wilson for her 400th. It was nice to see them play that way, considering they had Paul Goris back at the helm, replacing Kennedy Kariyama, who's done an exceptional job in the absence of Goris. But this game today, I think we're going to see a high-performing game, a lot of great defense, physicality, and hopefully some shooting spectacular performances as well.
So the Lights Community and Sports Centre, the starting lineup for the top of the table, Adelaide Lightning, reads like this. Talbot, who Jenny Screen says is in MVP form again, Alana Smith, Abby Werung, and Marina Whittle comes in. They'd been going with Chelsea Brook in that spot, but she will partner up with Kylie Shook in the front court there.
Yeah, I mean, they can always rotate, and that's the great thing about Chris when he recruits. He's very trustworthy in all his players. Brooke Simons comes in. She does a great job off the bench as well. So no doubt they'll rotate. He's very good with his minutes, and he explores it. But no doubt, let's have a look at the matchup between Steph Talbot and Brittany Sykes. I think that's going to be an exciting one of 2 caliber players.
Yeah, Brittany Sykes is an out-and-out star defensively, and we're starting to see more offensively now. Britt Smart, the experience there, Michaela Ruff, and then Sykes, Wilson and Griffin. That is a really experienced lineup.
Yeah, it's a lot older, shall we say. I can say that because I'm older than all of them. But with that comes experience. A lot of these girls have won championships. They know what it's like. They've led very well with their coaches in Carly Wilson, Kennedy Kariyama and Paul Goris. So they'll be well prepared. They've got the rotations off the bench. Bunton is one who'll be able to go up against the likes of Ruth when she comes in. And then Talia Tupaia and Jade Melbourne add some nice punch in the backcourt for the Canberra Capitals as well.
So our second game of the triple header after this one. Don't forget, in fact, before we get to that, earlier today, we should probably mention too that was an absolute thriller between the Southside Flyers and the Sydney Uni Flames in Sydney. 15 points was the margin at quarter time in favour of the Sydney Uni Flames, and Southside came home and pinched it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a thriller or just a gobsmacking, oh my goodness, how did this happen? Because for all intents and purposes, most people probably would have switched off the game thinking, oh, Sydney have got this. And then lo and behold, Blitzarves and probably Jenna O'Hay and Rebecca Cole stepped up in the absence of Bishop, who they lost in the first quarter to a calf or potentially Achilles injury. They battled with Blitzarves in foul trouble, but they just found a way. They're experienced, they're the reigning champions for a reason, and they came away with a 3-point win. But a missed opportunity for the Sydney Flames, but a lot to take out of it in positive frame of mind.
Townsville Fire Melbourne Boomers after this game, and then a little bit of a break as that 16-player Opal squad heads into camp in Sydney, looking to whittle down to 12 to do the qualifying tournament of the 2022 FIBA Women's World Cup. We're underway in Adelaide. The legend that is Kelly Wilson will bring the Capitals up the floor for their first possession. Michaela Roof's been really important, the naturalised Aussie. Sykes, Roof combining. Sykes' defensive work, we know, gets her so much kudos, but offensively starting to show exactly what she brings to the table.
Well, she's pretty good on the offensive end, averaging 16 points and also 4 assists. That was a great start. You couldn't ask for a better first phase or first play of the game on an away court for the UC Capitals, as we see Steph Talbot doing Steph Talbot things. I think she is the player of this league. It's nice to see an Australian player dominating, especially coming up into the World Cup. She's fit, she's strong, and she can do a lot of things on the court and create a lot of havoc.
Averaging a double-double a game, 14.5 points, 10 rebounds and 5.8 assists. She's the #1 assist provider on average per game in the competition this year. Wilson glides inside, can't get the teardrop to go. Rebound Smith. And Werung quickly up the floor. Has Shook underneath, kicks it out. Looking for another three. Nothing there for Alana Smith on this occasion. We've got a 2-all ball game, early stages. Wilson, that's great defence. Alana Smith just knew that Roof was the target.
Alana Smith there, but obviously on this replay, nice little decoy. Steph Talbot overplayed there, tried to go for the steal, and a nice little back cut from Roof to reward herself. And then we see Steph Talbot, both 2 play phases of the first game. As coaches, you'd be happy with that output.
Werung, after getting the kind bounce for Canberra to go 4-2 up. Shook, strong in the post. Lovely spin and finish on the left hand over Michaela Roof.
And that's just a big, strong body. At the start of the season, I didn't know how she'd go with foot speed in terms of defending. We don't have a lot of bigs like her in this league, but she's been exceptional, and Chris has found a really good place for her and uses her very well in her structure. Another one that's good in their structure is Brittany Smart. We know that she is great from deep, almost 40% on the season.
So early gauntlet thrown down by the UC Capitals, 7-4 lead. Abby Werung, Shook up top, Whittle into the starting lineup. Low post, Shook, back out again for Smith. Wanted Talbot, who now posts up, turn around on Sykes. Nothing doing. 404 games for Kelly Wilson. Sykes leads them in scoring, as Jenny Screen pointed out a little earlier. Smart for consecutive triples, no good. Talbot brings Adelaide up the floor. Sykes stealing again. And then on the fast break, Smart will finish off the work. Wilson, the provider.
And this is what they're good at. You know, they force people into turnovers. They're really good in terms of scoring off turnovers. 17 points a game at the UC Caps. The other thing we have to make note of is that Adelaide Lightning aren't really good at ball security this season thus far, averaging 17 turnovers a game, just behind the Southside Flyers. So that's something they're going to have to really focus on today, because we know how much the UC Caps can punish you off turnovers.
Smith got the kind bounce. Cuts the margin back to 3 with her first points of the afternoon. Sykes stepping into the lane, drew 2, they collapsed on her, and that left Roof just to knock down the baseline 2.
Great athleticism shown there by Sykes. She has the ability to get in deep, but then she also has the length and the obviously peripheral vision to find her teammates, averaging 4 assists a game.
Talbot crossover. Sykes not biting. Lovely little drop pass over the top for Whittle, who couldn't finish on the Werrung pass, but cleaned up her own mess. And then Talbot's fouled on her way into the lane. Let's another look at this Brittany Sykes steal. And that's an easy bucket for a player with the experience of Britt Smart. 36 years of age, naturalised Aussie, Cedarville University. From Ohio, originally. Cross-court pass, Smith to Talbot. Shook trying to set the screen, now gets it back in some pick-and-roll action. Werrung closed down quickly in the corner. They leave Shook up top. No joy for her on the three. KG 23, the rebound. Sykes wants to go straight at Talbot, and charges are called.
Let's have a look here and see if Steph Talbot actually had her feet. Yeah, she had her feet outside the charge circle. That was the thing that was concerning me. Probably just two girls going at it physically. You know, it could have potentially been a no call, but Steph Talbot is a great defender in our league, and I think one of the best, and probably will go close to winning the award this year, as she has done in previous years. But a great defensive effort from her. She
was the first to get the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same year, and then she can add a little bit more history if she can win them both again. Werrung, feed inside to Whittle, who's got a mismatch size-wise on Smart, and the call is a blocking foul.
And you can see they've done this in a couple of plays, as we saw Steph Talbot try to post up Sykes earlier. They're trying to go the oversized player in Marina Whittle and Steph Talbot and the like against the smaller guards. They're spacing the floor. They're allowing them to gut cut, which is down the middle of the keyway, and post up to get in the advantage.
Whittle inbound. Shook puts the ball on the floor. Tries to get Bunton up in the air. She wouldn't go, so the shot's forced up, but offensive glass. Smith, and I don't know who Whittle was passing that to, but definitely not on the same page, and maybe not even in the same book. So still 11-6. Capitals with a good start. Wilson desperately wants to get it to Griffin. Back to Wilson. Werrung comes out to meet her. Catch and shoot from Smart. Looked uncomfortable the moment it left the hand. And Talbot charges down the floor, fouled by Sykes. The third team foul, I reckon, on the Capitals.
You can see when the Adelaide Lightning, both teams do this exceptionally well. They can get the defensive rebound, and they have the ability from 1 to 3, even the 4 spots, similar to Alana Smith for the Adelaide Lightning, to push the ball and have some pace in that early 8 seconds of the offense.
Well, the inbound, Smith once, twice. Second time was a charm. Sykes already up to 2 fouls, and I think taking a seat. No, still out there. She's up to 2 fouls. 11-8. Capitals lead. Griffin strong inside. Smith even stronger with the denial. And it'll be an Adelaide ball. Jade Melbourne could not keep it in.
Great hands there.
Shook.
Great hands there by Shook, and you know, Alana Smith kept her ground, was able to not foul or bail her out, and then Shook just got a sneaky right hand in there and forced the turnover, allowing Adelaide Lightning another opportunity to creep back this 3-point deficit they find themselves in the first quarter.
8-11. We're back underway. Smith, Werrung, Wilson in the full court press. Alicia Froling into the game for the Capitals. Smith, hand off to Simons and back to Talbot. Beautiful cut and a horseshoe around from Simons.
It's one thing you can guarantee from Adelaide, or teams that are coached by Chris Lucas's execution, and that was a well-executed play by Sam Simons. Nice to see her coming in early in the 6-man rotation, a young junior. This is her first year at WNBL level, averaging 16 minutes a game and 5.6 points a game, and comes from a pedigree of, shall we say, basketballers. Her mum played in the WNBL, as did her dad, so she's pretty much had a ball in her hand before she was even born.
Interesting on that play there, Bunton taking underneath. I think she just lost her geography. She took the ball under the bucket, then made the big step back for the turnaround jumper when it was probably just a put-up.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to set your feet, check inside. But also it's hard when you're making that slash cut across the top of the key where you're like, oh, is the help coming? And if you've got someone like Alana Smith coming, she's athletic and she'll block you 9 times out of 10. So I think Bunton just wanted to create some space. But, yeah, you pulled it up right there, Sam. She could have just gone up easy for a nice 2.
First did everything but drop. Second one does. So Bunton's first points lead back to 2. 4 minutes to play, first quarter at the Lights Community and Sports Centre in Adelaide. Been a big day for basketball in Adelaide. 36 have been playing as well. Sykes again just reads the offense brilliantly. Chopping that off. Melbourne thought she wanted a little alley-oop play with Bunton. And they just couldn't collaborate in the way they were hoping. Talia Tupaya.
And Sykes using her length. She comes out of nowhere. I'd love to know what her wingspan is. I reckon it'd be about 6'5". And then Jade Melbourne, she had some punch off the bend, but that's just, you know, her youth showing out there. Just needs a little bit of composure, find her feet, and then comes up to either a decision of layup or find her open player.
Talbot drops it into the low post for Smith. Turnaround on Froling, who caught the arm and will send Smith to the line.
It's another great thing about the Adelaide Lightning is that they don't rely heavily from the three-point line or heavily from the keyway. They've got a nice kind of exposure or balance between the two. You know, Alana Smith, she can post up and go inside. Shook's the same. She plays a bit more front to bucket. And then you got Tablet, who's has a lot of versatility to her game as well, front to bucket or back to bucket.
Alana Smith, a couple of misses in a row. Was drafted 8th by the Phoenix Mercury in 2019 in the WNBL draft. Sykes loves this fall away. Couldn't get it to go, and Bunton there to clean it up though. Offensive glass and the putback too. Lovely little backdoor pass for Brooke to come on to and get her first points. 2-point ball game. Melbourne the handoff to Tupaya. Froling goes cross court. Sykes, Bunton on the low post. Drew 2. Froling came and had it stripped from her hands. So defensive work at a premium for the Lightning. That pass just not getting into the hands of Alana Smith in the open court. Tupaya chopping it off. Little help from Froling as well. And it'll be an Adelaide ball.
Great position from Alex Bunton here, and then she drew the double. Alicia Froling had a great cut. Just obviously the cheeky hands from the Adelaide Lightning find their way to the ball and force the block.
Ortlep into the game. Gave it back to Brooke, and Brooke to Talbot. Smith was to her right, steps through the partition doors of Bunton and Froling and gets 2 more.
And she's just getting better and better as the season goes on. More games, more game time. She's only averaging 20 minutes a game, and Chris is obviously looking after her from a physical point of view, but she's just going from strength to strength this season, and it's nice to see considering she's had so much disruption in the last couple of years, Alana Smith.
Well, she levels the scores and is up to 6 points. Now setting the screen for Talbot. Froling gets ahead of her, and then she just dropped out the back, Smith, and was able to regain a dish out. And there's another big 3-point bucket.
Another up-and-coming Adelaide junior in Chelsea Brooks, similar to Sam Simons. She's been in the league a couple of years now. She's played at Australian level in the World Uni Games in 2017, so she knows what it's about. She's played up in Queensland in the NBL 1 last year and did a phenomenal job with Mackay, as we see the veteran in Bunton going to work against the younger Brooke. But credit to Brooke, she's finding her feet with Adelaide and making herself known off the bench.
Simon, handoff. Talbot goes back to Smith, and then for the 45. No joy there. Brooke and Melbourne collide, trying to reclaim the ball. And it looks like it's a real key to, especially what Adelaide and Perth do, is that they've got a real, they make it a real focus to find local talent.
Yeah, they do. That's always been the case ever since I played there, when even Jan Sterling was the coach, or even before her. It was always, you know, we want to reward our our local talent and have them. It hasn't been as much compared to years past that I've been involved in, but it's nice to see that still happening.
Wilson gets her first points over Taylor Ortlep. 1 point Adelaide lead. Talbot, cross-court pass, Brooks, Simons thought about it. Ortlep will do it, just a little bit long, and Griffin comes up with the crumbs. Quickly to Wilson, to her left, to Payer, the long range to... It always surprises me now in the modern game to see a long range two. It's sort of three or...
No,
you're
I
still
love
loving it.
I want to see it. It needs to be in the game. I hear this all the time, you know, the statisticians and the data comes from the NBA and it's threes and layups and that's all we want. For me in the women's game especially, and you see it in Europe at the international level, the mid-range game is there. And if you have that, not only with your ability to get to the rack or your ability to shoot the long bomb, but if you can have the mid-range game as well, it just makes you so much harder to guard.
Yep.
So I don't know why you wouldn't want to, practice that skill.
So, just a little conjecture on whose ball that should be. And it looks like it will be Adelaide's. Still trailing by 1. Canberra on a bit of a run. Simons to Payer, really aggressive on Talbot, throwing the elbows around and trying to cross over. The help came, and that's just good defence. Forced her to fall, and then Roof just threw it up when there was maybe a bit more time, and Wilson lurking underneath to close out an arm wrestle of the first quarter in Adelaide at the first quarter break. It's the Lightning, top of the table, 17, trailing the Capitals, 4th on the table, 18, 1 point lead to Canberra.
To everyone who said we're not strong enough, not fast enough, wrong. We're crossover queens, scoring buckets, taking names and hitting no-look threes. We fight for every ball. Until we dunk, hell yeah. When we roll into the court with nothing to lose and everything to prove, you're in for a show. She got style, she got balls, she got belief, she got game.
1 point lead to the UC Capitals over the Adelaide Lightning. 17 to 8. Don't forget too, Aussie Hoops is basketball's national junior participation program, introducing kids aged 5 to 10 years of age to the great game of basketball. They learn and improve not just their fundamental movement and skills, but the basics of teamwork and cooperation, which will benefit them both on and off the court for years to come. More importantly, they have fun and they make friends. 100,000 kids all smiling. That's how you measure the success of the Aussie Hoops program. And don't forget, you can register now for the Term 1 programs at aussiehoops.basketball. Find a program. Aussie Hoops centres can be found around Australia on the website, where the focus is having fun with friends and learning basketball skills. Jenny Screen, we're just seeing Adelaide coach Chris Lucas on screen. What do you think his message would be to this Lightning side trailing by a point? I'm
pretty sure it'd be about defence and rotations and shot options. But from both teams, I think it's been an exceptional first quarter. It's been all class. For me, the separation is probably the rebound count. Adelaide having 4 offensive rebounds, giving them, 4 extra opportunities to look at the shot. And if you're the league first position on the ladder, you don't want to be giving that team extra opportunities. But for Canberra Capitals, I think they've been sensational.
What's Kiana Williams doing to the structure of this Adelaide lineup at the moment? Just saw Kiana for the Lightning in her civvies, just in tracksuit. Doesn't look like she's playing in this game, and it just does change the way that they do set up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the depth of the Adelaide Lightning, it allows, again, we spoke about it in previous games, rotations, opportunities for other players to come in. Chelsea Brooks done a great job. She had 5 points in that first quarter. They've got the depth, and Chris is always smart about that in terms of recruiting enough players to ensure if injuries do occur, we'll be okay.
Getting the ball on the floor is Lana Smith. Strong move into the avenue. And it'll be a Lightning ball. Last touch, Canberra. But Williams has been a great find, hasn't she?
Oh, sensational. 11 points a game.
Yep.
Chris probably doesn't get the big stars, but he gets players that fit what he needs.
Yep.
And are good team players. They, great teammates. But she's 11 points, 2.4 assists, and averages 28 minutes. So there's 28 minutes that, the Adelaide Lightning as a team have to try and find. And, they'll be able to do that through some of the players that we see on screen there.
And again, it was a shrewd recruitment, wasn't it? Because it not only had she played with Steph Talbot at Seattle, but she'd actually played with Alana Smith at Stanford. So she knew their two big guns as Werung gets her first.
Yeah, and, no doubt Alana Smith, gave her a call and said, yeah, come to Adelaide. And, they've obviously been teammates for many years at Stanford for a period of time. So that gives you comfort as well when you're import coming out to a new country, a new team, and to know people on the roster only makes your transition a lot easier.
So Adelaide with their first lead. No luck for Michaela Roof trying to put that up and under. And now Werung almost lost the handle there. Wilson wearing her tightly, just drops into space. It was a beautifully weighted pass for Smith, who wore the initial contact from Griffin and able to bury the layup. Wilson trying to step through. Roof out to the side. Thought about the shot to Paya into the lane, then back out. And that's a big three from Jade Melbourne.
What was big is their ball movement and their ability to get the ball through hands there. Shifted defence from Adelaide and allow Jade Melbourne that open opportunity and less pressure to nail that three.
Jade Melbourne, part of the Opals squad that's heading into camp tomorrow. Werung, little step to the right, pulls up just inside the stripe and knocks down the short range two.
See, there's that mid-range game, right? Kelly Wilson tried to go under there, but Werung was just a little bit too quick. Not, they're going to play her probably for the drive more so than the three. So nice to see her pull up and take that open opportunity.
Ball pinballing around, ends up with Werung. Steps through, Shook. Thought about it. Roof closes her down. Back out to Werung. Melbourne wearing her. She drew two. Smith, quick pass into the corner. Simons put the ball on the floor instead of taking the three. Little teardrop, no good from in the corridor to Paya. Comes up with it. And Griffin will give it up to Wilson, who will call the ball. Griffin hand off to Paya. Roof to her right. Melbourne bounces it in for Griffin. Goes baseline, underneath, blocked by Shook. Following up, though, was Roof, and she gets the bucket and the foul.
Roof has been solid. Kelsey Griffin getting probably one of her first touches out the ball, except for that one in the first quarter, and being followed up by her fellow teammate in Roof. Nice block and hands by Shook, and then Alana just caught napping as Roof comes in for the rebound. Roof, for me, has been pretty solid for the UC Caps in that first quarter. She had 4 points, a couple of rebounds as well. She's not going to give you a star-studded performance, but she'll give you, good quality defense, a trustworthy performance. She's averaging 8 points and 8 rebounds a game, and a couple assists to go with it.
Now, what's happening here? Just have a little look. Got a little bit of a hold-up after Roof got the foul shot. So 23-22, 1 point Adelaide lead. Ortlep to her left, trying to bounce it to her right. Smith back to Ortlep, goes inside, little handoff. Shook likes that from that range. Just a little short on this occasion, and Sykes comes away with it for the Capitals. Only Werung in front of her. Shook shuts down the space. She just heaves it out of there, Sykes, as it all folded in on top of her. Wilson tries to get the step on Shook, stays in front of her, bounces it in. Griffin, almost the perfect play. Whittle came up with it though, gave it to Werung. Now Smith thought about taking the shot herself, just dumped it over the top to Shook, who had it taken away from her by Britt Smart. Desperately gets it up off the floorboards, and Canberra will come away with it after their third steal. So a real back and forth situation at the moment. Smart gave it up to Wilson, who wants movement. Didn't get much, so gave it up. Sykes will pull the trigger on the three, and why wouldn't you? Lead back with Canberra to the tune of 2 points. Britt Sykes
This is what you call hand down, player down. And in the situation, Alana didn't respect that position. Yeah, she was only a hand's distance away, but she didn't carry a hand, which allowed Sykes to have that little sneaky look at the rim. And she's too good and all classed not to be able to carry a hand, and knocks down that open three.
It's a little look inside the huddles of both teams. Sykes' first points. 3 of 6 of the Capitals for 3, going at 50%, just 1 of 5 Adelaide in that space. The rebound battle being comprehensively won by Adelaide, 16-10. But 4 steals to 1 in the Capitals' favour. 2 of those, as you expect, to Britt Sykes. So we've got a close one. Jenny?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, you know, it's nice to always have that close differential, only 2 points, but these are 2 caliber teams. You know, UC Caps have won 9 championships in their caliber career, or, you know, across the history of the WNBL, and Adelaide have won a few, and Chris has been around a long time. He's coached his team for a long time. He did a great job up in Townsville as well, bringing them their first championship. So it's also a battle of the coaches for this one for me. You've got the Opals assistant coach in Paul Goris, and then Chris Lucas. He's coached at World Uni Games level. He's also been assistant coach for the Opals himself. So I think it's a battle of the brains in this one, a very much a chess piece, or a chess game, if you will.
So who's going to go full Queen's Gambit? Who?
I'm not sure. You know, I loved that show on Netflix, actually, to be honest. But this one, I think, is going to go down to the wire.
Smith, guarded by Griffin. That's a great matchup. Whittle underneath, did well. Just sent the defence the wrong way. And in the end, an easy put up for her.
That was just off a nice shuffle cut action, again, using her size. Sykes has got the length with her arms, but size, Mariana Whittle just too strong in that back-to-basket position.
Ortlep steals it away from Smart, has players everywhere. Clever from Smith, patient from Whittle. Sent the first flying by, she put the brakes on and then got it for consecutive buckets. She's got 4 points. And we're all level again. Wilson put a step on Werrung. Avenue is closed. Smart, just a heave in hope, was long. Whittle the rebound. Here comes Lana Smith again. Oh, Sykes got another hand in. Smith wanted the foul. No whistle. Wilson, oh, Smart didn't realise it was for her, and she had a vacant lane in front of her. It'll be an Adelaide ball.
Talk about someone that's been around the league a long time, Natalie Hurst. You know, championship player with the UC Capitals in her time, spent the last bit of her career with the Adelaide Lightning, and is now transitioning into coaching. She was a great brain of the game in a point guard position that she did play, and nice to see her not being lost to the sport and taking up the opportunity with the Adelaide Lightning.
Werrung, nice turnaround step and beautifully kissed off the glass. Deft touch from Abby Werrung.
She's been pretty solid to start this game, you know, especially in this second quarter. 6 points alone, 2 of 2, and a couple of free throws to go with it.
Wilson for 3, almost shook the rebound, and Werrung comes down the floor again. Ortlep quickly to Whittle and made the strong move to the bucket. Smart wore her closely though. Shook. Ortlep kept going into the corner and was left alone this time, and made the Capitals pay. Big 3, biggest lead of the game for Adelaide. It's up to 5 points.
And if you turn the ball over, teams will, like these 2 teams, will make you pay. And the Adelaide Lightning are doing just that. And now a much-needed timeout just to stop the flow of momentum that has just shifted from the UC Caps to the Adelaide Lightning.
15-9 quarter in favour of Adelaide. That's not right. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
Are you backing yourself, Sam?
Yeah, I'm backing
you don't seem confident. I'm sure you are.
It was never my strong suit at school, to be very honest.
That's why I never make comments when it comes to numbers, because maths was definitely not my strong point. Just ask my father. But when we look at the stats, I think the great thing about Adelaide, they got 10 points off the bench. UC aren't far behind with 8. The biggest differential for me is those 5 offensive rebounds from the Adelaide Lightning. But apart from that, both teams have been pretty solid.
offensive rebound numbers, we were speaking about that a lot in the last game because it played such a pivotal role for the Southside Flyers in that final quarter. 5-2 in favour of Adelaide.
Yeah, which is exceptional. I mean, you know, you've got some players like Whittle and Steph Talbot, Alana Smith. They're great at crashing the board. The thing of concern that we just have to be wary of is the turnover count. Adelaide have 6 turnovers already. Yes, whilst they have the lead, that could come back to bite them. You know, with a team like UC Capitals, where we know they can punish you off turnovers with 17 a game. I mentioned that earlier on. So ball security is something that Adelaide will want to look after.
Foul on Ortleb, trying to make life difficult for Kelly Wilson in the full court press. She goes straight back to that assignment again. Wilson gives it up to Griffin, back to Wilson. Game number 404. Griffin tried to shake Shook, and she wouldn't be shooken. Again, offensive rebounds though. Now Bunton on Brooke. Brooke did really well, would not be denied. Falling hard was Griffin. Another reclaim from the Capitals. Sykes. Foul line jumper doesn't go. Finally, Adelaide win it back.
Tough here not to get the call was Alex Bunton from the referees. I thought Brooks put her hand in, and then Kelsey Griffin just battling hard. She may not be putting up the numbers today yet. Can I just say yet, because she has the ability to just you know, pile it on when necessary, but she'll battle hard and she'll do all the little things as well, and that's what's made her such a great player in this league for a very long time.
Talbot's 3, so close. Wilson quickly pushing the tempo. Now backs away with Talbot confronting her. Bunton back to Wilson. Not a lot of movement for her. Screen is set, now the pick and roll. She doesn't go to Bunton, tries to in the end, but they had lost connection. Like the internet dropping out. She just wasn't there. Now Adelaide come away with it again. Brooke to Talbot. Just 2 points for Steph Talbot. Whittle, Sykes got a hand on that as well. You have to be oh so careful, and then making the diagonal cut inside was Brooke, and Bunton got a hand on that. It'll be a lightning ball. Little quiet, Steph Talbot, 3 assists though, 2 rebounds and the 2 points. She's, as you were saying earlier, has probably got the most complete game in the competition at the moment. Didn't like the shot. Froling wasn't allowing her, so gave it up to Brooke, who wasn't expecting it. Gives it back to Talbot as the shot clock expires, and she drains that long range 2 that Jenny Screen I should never have argued with you about.
And I think she might have heard you about she's having a quiet one, and then she goes and nails that shot in the dying seconds of the shot clock of that play phase. Both teams coming out of that timeout that was called from Paul Goris once Adelaide got the lead. They've just been a little bit stagnant. You know, we're deep into the second quarter, and they're just got to get back to some good ball movement like they did in the first quarter, especially the UC Caps. They had some good action, whether it be through penetration, moving the ball around the three-point line, inside-outside action. So let's see if they can achieve that in the last 3 minutes of this second quarter.
Wilson gets it back from Froling. Froling sets the screen, but Werung didn't give up on her assignment. They leave Froling alone, could have taken the shot. Simon's really close on Smart. Sykes dared to take the shot by Talbot, and she does and puts it long. Lightning ball. So they've just slowed up a little bit offensively, Canberra. Jenny?
Yeah, they have indeed. I think, you know, the scout from Adelaide Lightning respecting or following, should I say, you know, Froling's out there, probably not known for ability to shoot the 3, so that allows a player like Brooke to just sag off and clog up the keyway a little bit more, and then also, as we see Kelly Wilson with a nice steal and a punishing 2-point shot just to close that deficit out a little bit. But Adelaide right now need a good look at the rim.
So just 9 points. Make that 11 points in the corner. Simon slicing in. Finishes. And the lead back to 7 in favour of Adelaide with 2 minutes to play in the second quarter. Second game of a big triple header today. Townsville and Melbourne, the game after this. Southside beating Sydney in the game earlier. Sykes goes straight at Talbot. Didn't bite on the fall away. What a wonderful spin back underneath. And the layup finish was exquisite.
That was beautiful athleticism and footwork, something that's very underrated and we don't see. So any young kid watching these games today, especially that move, the ability to keep her feet and use her body and get a defender like Steph Talbot up in the air and step through. As we see here, nice first step, up fake, step through again on Steph Talbot. Just got her up and out of her stance and then easy to finish. And then another person with athleticism, Abby Werung, getting to the rim on probably a poor closeout, shall we say.
5-point game. Werung's got the 6 points. Second leading scorer for Adelaide. Smith has the 8. Now 7 for Abby Werung. Was named in that overall Opals squad of which the World Cup team can be selected for. Not in the 16 that they're trying to whittle down to 12 to go to Serbia. But that's a great reward for a recognition of where she's at in her career.
Absolutely. I mean, she's another one that's, you know, coming or getting better with spades and opportunity, as we see a nice defensive set there from the Adelaide Lightning. But, you know, these opportunities will come for these younger girls and she will reap the benefits in the years to come. And she really enjoys, Abby does, playing under the tutelage of Chris Lucas.
Talbot to Smith. Adelaide Lightning fans will never get sick of hearing that being called. Wilson to Payer, handoff Roof. Sykes with 53 seconds left and 10 on the shot clock. Drew 2 and just couldn't thread the needle on the bounce pass to Froling. It'll be a Lightning ball. Clock stops at 49, lead is 9. It's been a dominant quarter.
I really liked the idea, very sneaky. She almost had it, just didn't come off the way she wanted it, but that's one that you would wear as a coach. Now let's see if they can lock in on the defensive end and get a stop and final possession to finish the quarter.
23-13 quarter. Simons to add a little more to that, bit long on that triple attempt. Froling the rebound and Wilson with 31 seconds left. So Lightning should get this ball back to Payer, bounce pass to her left. Roof tried the wraparound, saw Froling coming through the key. It ricochets out to Wilson, her 3-ball long. Roof the offensive rebound, pulls up at the elbow. It's short. Talbot last touch came off her hands, and with 15.3 seconds left, Canberra will get a chance to cut this margin. It currently sits at 9.
Some really good ball possession from the UC Caps. They're going after the offensive rebounds. They just haven't been able to see their shots find the bottom of the net. But persistence is the key here for them. Yep, they might find themselves down by 9. But for me, just keep going. Take the open shots, follow up, get those offensive boards. They've now got 5 for the half, matching Adelaide Lightning. But there's a long way to go in this game.
Paul Goris addressing the troops. Second game back for him.
Okay, Kelly's up through the middle. We're looking at T first off. Okay, catch and shoot. You get the early one, we're going to take an open shot. If not, then Kelly's coming up through the middle. We're flattening up into the horn. Okay, so if T doesn't get wide open here, up through here, horn into. If you're flaring, you're on the roll. Okay,
It's great access. Paul Goris calling the play. So they'll have 15.3 seconds left to execute, just to go in at the half with a much more manageable deficit in front of them. But 9 points, as we know in modern basketball, isn't a heap.
It's a couple of possessions.
Yep.
Especially at this level, it's quite easy, really. If they get a good look at the bucket here, they're going to have some cutting action out to the wing, and then I think they're going to fall into a horn set, if I heard Paul Goris correctly.
So Wilson, Smith shuts it down, tries to drop it over the defenders to Froling, who just stepped out. So 5.5 seconds left, enough time to Adelaide to force it down the floor and create something, and we'll have another timeout.
And you can see the chess game that I spoke about. I mean, yep. Kelly Wilson probably came off that pick and roll a little bit hesitant, not her normal aggressive self, probably could have gone into a pull-up J. She had Alicia Froling diving hard with if it had have missed, she could have got on the offensive glass. But right now, 5 seconds, this is a chess game, right? We've had quite a few timeouts in this game by both coaches. Gorry just on the last one with drawing up the play, and now you got Chris Lucas with 5.5 seconds to draw up his play going into the quarter. Now, does Goris come out, change up the D? Does he show a zone, fall back into a man? These are all the things that you try and analyse or achieve as a coach.
So we were interested to know what Paul Goris had offensively. Now here's the instructions defensively with 5.5 left in the half.
In the shadow, make sure they're catching it in front to the corners. No lobs, no back.
So no lobs, no back screens. So what he's saying there, Jenny Screen, is don't let them do what we just tried to do.
I think they're staying in a man. It didn't sound like they were going to a zone at all. But 5.5 seconds is a long time.
Interesting that they bring on Abby Cabilio just for the last 5.5 seconds. A steal. Tapia read it beautifully and somehow missed the layup. Roof there on the follow though. And they should all get around Michaela Roof.
Couldn't ask for a better defensive set. Way good job from Tali Tapia ruining that one, but then Roof following it up with an athletic left hand. She is a lefty anyway, but a nice finish and just creeping that lead back to 7 point, or deficit I should say rather, back to 7 points as we head into the half.
Half time at Adelaide. Adelaide Lightning top of the table. They're 40. UC Capitals fourth on the ladder. They're 7 points adrift. 40-33. Half time.
It was a really great first half of basketball. Two elite teams going at it. As we look at the highlights, I couldn't, fault either team, to be honest. With picking at straws in terms of offensive rebounds, I thought both teams, for the most part, looked after the ball pretty well. We know how much the UC Caps can capitalise teams who do commit turnovers. But both teams, I thought, had some punch. They got a little bit slow in that end of the second quarter. But, when you've got players like Sykes on the offensive end for the UC Caps, and then we've got Talbot, and then players off the bench like Sam Simons able to contribute. This one is going to go down to the wire in the 20 minutes of the second half.
So some of the major numbers as we look at the team stats. Field goal percentage, so the Lightning really shooting the Lightnings out. It's not how that expression goes, I know. 55% though is phenomenal from the field, but then it's in stark contrast to the 25% for three.
Yeah, I think, both teams have had some great contributions across the board from their players. Smith has 10. Shook has been quiet for her too. She does have 4 rebounds to go. Talbot, she's been, solid, but she's also got a defensive matchup too as well. So that can take away sometimes from her offensive output. I think she's done a great job on Sykes. She's got 5 points, 3 rebounds and 3 assists. So, it's nice to see them battle and go at it as well.
As we just have a quick look at the ladder, I'm fairly sure we're just jumping to for this this half time. It's either that or we're talking about Alana Smith. I'll get the instruction in just a minute. But Alana Smith's numbers, 10 points for her, 4 rebounds and 3 assists. This combination with her and Steph Talbot, it's just been phenomenal.
Yeah, she has the ability, given her size and athleticism, she plays in that 4 spot, can go and stretch it and go front to bucket, but she also has the ability to go back to bucket. And then she has that length with her arms to be able to, shot block and make it difficult for undersized bigs like Kelsey Griffin and the like, who isn't getting any younger. We know she's lost a little bit of her athleticism that we have come to know over the years in the WNBL. But Alana's going from strength to strength this season, and she was one for me that I had a question mark over. We hadn't seen her play really consistently for 2 years. She's had a lot of injuries with her foot and her ankle, spent some time overseas, and then last year was just wreaked with havoc with injuries. So it's nice to see her go into some form, but then also form not only for the Lightning, which everyone would love if you're from the Adelaide Lightning, but also for the Opals as well.
You were really keen on this matchup from the start of the game. Steph Talbot up against the import Britt Sykes, and That's how it stands at the moment, almost neck and neck. But the 3 steals from Sykes always telling. But other than that, it's pretty even.
I think it's just they've cancelled each other out. I think they've been both pretty solid. Sykes has had some great steals. She uses her length really well. And then Talbot, you know, she's always a brute in terms of whether she's going to the rack, posting you up, or playing some defense as well. So that one I think will continue to be a battle in the 20 minutes that we're about to see in the second half. They're 2 caliber players, very similar in terms of what they're capable of. Steph's probably a better shooter than Sykes, but it's an exciting matchup and I'm enjoying it.
So as we now start to regather momentum into the season, let's have a look at how the ladder stands at the moment. We've got a game to come after this one in round 9 of the WNBL, and it would be fair to say, Jen, that there are some teams that are separating themselves from the rest of the competition. Who are you liking at this stage of the year?
Yeah, for me, look, I think the Adelaide Lightning have come out and stunned me, if I'm being honest. I always thought Perth were going to be the dark horse of the league and come away potentially with being in the top 4. For me, it is what it is right now. Adelaide Lightning, Perth and Melbourne are my top 3 picks heading into the finals. We've still got a long way to go in this season. And then I think that 4th spot can be anywhere between the likes of the Southside Flyers, who are the reigning champions, or the UC Capitals, who are always around the mark because that's just their legacy. They know how to win and get it done, and they're led well by Paul Goris.
So just having a look at some of the Lightning's highlights of this year, but Perth Lynx, who with a delayed start to the season, as we know, and they're on a 4-game tear at the minute, and they are just so potent in offense.
They are. I mean, that's probably another team I could bring into the fold. And they probably have a bit more youth and exuberance compared to the UC Caps. That's probably the only differential. The UC Caps, can they stay healthy? They've got a lot of veterans in their team. But for me, the Perth Lynx have been sensational, but Townsville Fire are another team that are firing on all cylinders, shall we say.
And what about the Melbourne Boomers? Are we just forgetting about them? They've got to play Townsville in the game after this one, but they are star-studded.
No, for me, I mean, they're in my top 3, as I mentioned before. I think they've got the team. Guy Malloy, we know he's exiting at the end of this season. Can they get it done? He's made in WNBL Championship. They've been the bridesmaid for a very, very long time. But for me, it's just their lapses. They blow out teams early, but then they seem to get run over at the end. And that's going to be the difference for them, again, being a bridesmaid or potentially putting on that white dress and being a bride.
5-3 at the moment of the UC Capitals. It's a longer road for them, but if they can start to wind up now, they've certainly, by the looks of it, have got the team that's capable of doing some damage.
They've got some veteran status. You know, they've got Wilson, they've got Smart, they've got Griffin. Do they have the athleticism that they did probably 3-4 years ago? No, they don't, but they have the smarts. They make up for it in experience. And then you add the versatility of someone like Brittany Sykes, who can not only contribute for you on the offensive end as she's averaging 16 points a game, but she can also get it done with her length on the defensive end. So if they can stay healthy and then they add punch off the bench with the likes of Jade Melbourne, who's 19 years of age, and she's going to be one to watch in the years to come. She's only going to get better and better. But then you've also got Talia Tupea. She's only played, I think, 5 games this season, came back from a shoulder injury recently, and she'll just go to strength as well. So, you know, they're always going to be around the mark, like I said just a minute ago, because they're coached well, they've been in the system a long time, and they've got the fabric in the makeup of the UC Caps. You know, Lauren Jackson and the like have been in that team for a very long time, and that history doesn't fade, shall we say. It continues on, and you can see that in the way they play.
You mentioned earlier during the broadcast that you weren't prepared to say that Kelsey Griffin was having a quiet night just yet, because you know that she can turn it on and turn a game with just a moment's notice. If we just have a look at her numbers at the moment, just the 2 points, but the 3 rebounds as well. So we've seen it time and time again that she might have a quiet first half, but then can explode in the second. Yeah,
if there's anyone that demands, a competitive game or an A game every game, it's Kelsey Griffin. She will always lead the front there. Yes, her numbers have been quiet, but like we said, she has the ability to come out and get it done, and no doubt she won't be happy with how she performed in that first half. She's got a job, you know, having to defend Alana Smith, the younger, probably a version similar to herself in her youth, but no doubt she'll be wanting to put the numbers on the board in the second half of the Canberra Cap. Caps.
In the game previously, we were really excited about the matchup between Maddie Rocci and also Shyla Hill, because in this Opals camp that's starting tomorrow, it's going to be fascinating. They've got a fair few guards that are selected in the squad. One of those is Jade Melbourne, the youngest member of the squad, if I'm not mistaken. She's got the 3 points in the game tonight and a steal as well. Obviously a really bright future. Can you see her making the 12 to go to Serbia, or is this really a learning experience for her?
I think it's just for an opportunity for Sandy to see her. Sandy hasn't had that opportunity when they obviously played at the Asia Cup. She was coached by Paul Goris, so Sandy probably wants to see her, see what she's like under her own eyes, and then give her an opportunity. You know, we need guards. We need point guards. You know, Leilani Mitchell, she's now pregnant. Who's going to fill that void? You've got Sammy Whitcomb. Jade Melbourne, yes, she is young, but we've got to give these young girls a go. Her, Shyla Hill, they need experience. They need opportunity in the green and gold. They need to be taught the makeup of what it is to be an Opal and what the privilege and honour is. So these opportunities don't come thick and fast, but Jade is an X factor, and she will be a part of, whether it's the Opals now or in 3-4 years' time. I have no doubt she will be part of the makeup of the Opals.
So both teams back out there warming up as we have a look at the Capitals going through their paces. What's the most important thing for them at the moment? They actually were leading at quarter time, 18-7, but they come in trailing by 7 at the half. What do they need to get back to?
Look, you know, possession game, they've got 7 turnovers. If I'm being critical, I look at the stats and both teams are pretty even. I think it's just, you know, avoiding those turnovers and allowing the Adelaide Lightning to get out and run. I think if they can just get a few stops together at the start of this third quarter and then find the bottom of the net. I sound critical, 41% is sensational, but when the opposition is scoring at 65%, then we've got to do something on the defensive end. So hopefully they can up the ante a little bit on the defensive UC Caps, put the pressure on the Adelaide Lightning, and then just reduce that deficit a little bit in the third quarter.
And they're so accomplished at both ends of the court, aren't they, the Adelaide Lightning? I mean, they defend just about as well as anybody, and yet they're still so effective in attack. 40 points in a half. That's getting up there to the penthouse level.
Yeah, that's a solid output. You know, 80 points, any coach would be happy with that. I think they'd also be happy that they've held UC Caps to 33 points for a half of basketball. That's an average, you know, a full-time game of around 65, 66 points. So, you know, but UC Caps have the talent to be able to come back in this second half. You know, they had the momentum. They scored that last bucket on the siren of that second quarter. So maybe that is just that momentum swing that they need heading into this third.
So leading point scorers in the game, Alana Smith has 10, Abby Werong has 8 for the Lightning, and for the Capitals, 9 to Michaela Roof and 5 to Britt Smart and Brittany Sykes and Alex Bunton as well, as they're sort of sharing it around. So interesting when you look at the UC Capitals lineup, we know that Brittany Sykes is their import. But there's such an American connection throughout this side when you've got Brittany Smart, who was born in Ohio, and Michaela Roof, who was born in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio as well. And we forget that Kelsey Griffin is a naturalised Aussie and was part of the Rookie of the Year, WNBL or rookie team in her first year, picked 3 in the WNBA draft in 2010. So you might think that they're going one short import-wise, but there's still a very strong US connection.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and they're a great US connection. They've been in our league a long time. It's nice to see them come out here and feel comfortable enough to want to naturalise and stay here. Kelsey Griffin has made a name for herself in Australia. She's married here in Australia. She's set up home here in Australia. And no doubt once her career ends, she will continue to give back in this great game, I have no doubt. So it's nice to see those players that it's not one and done. Not coming just for the money. They're coming for the championships and the glory. And you see that through a lot of the players that have come through the ranks of the UC Caps. Yep,
2 grand final MVPs, 3-time champion Kelsey Griffin and an Opal as well. She's certainly jumped in with both feet since coming over. So 40-33, Capitals with the opening possession of the half. Smart coming around, drops over the top. Roof was dared to shoot by Smith, and there she did.
How good has she been? I mean, she's now hit double digits, 11 points for the game, 5 of 7, triple in rebounds to go with it. She's just been solid for me. She hasn't done anything fancy, but, you know, above her average in points. Just having a look here in the replay again, Alana just not carrying her hand too quickly, and Roof has that. That's probably her range in terms of where she can shoot from and knocking it down.
Is it too early to say the roof is on fire?
You're trying to hand out all the cliches today, aren't you?
Yep, that's what I bring to the table. Shook couldn't finish on that turnaround too. So 5-point lead. Wilson quickly to Griffin and hand off to Sykes. Back to her left and foot violation, Smith. Simons starting the second half for Adelaide. No Kiana Williams, as we know. Sykes thought about the two. Wilson slides in baseline. Ruth out smart, and she liked it the moment it left the hand. Rattles in the triple. Lead just 2 points now.
And she started off the game with a 3, and nice to see her hit the first bucket for the UC Caps in this third quarter.
Talbot gets a screen from Shook, but can't shake Sykes. Now guarded from Roof. Dangerous cross-court pass. Werang steps to the baseline and pulls up, and then robs Griffin almost. Smith did knock it out, but fouled it in the same motion. And not happy with that call is Alana Smith.
And you can just see the defensive intensity for me as just upped a notch for the UC Caps. They're a little bit more aggressive to their closeouts. They're a little bit more aggressive on their bumps on cutters. And you can just see, you know, though there's a couple of stops here at the start of the third quarter, which is helping them.
Kayla Roof. Smith a lot more aggressive in her defence. Has earned that respect. Griffin, big couple of steps in and can't finish. Almost put back by Roof. They ricochet out fast break. Simons only has Wilson to beat and is called for the charge. And she is quite bewildered.
Interesting to see the ball kicked ahead. Maybe a little bit of an extension of the elbow, but good to see the youngster coming into the starting lineup for the second half of the Adelaide Lightning. 5-0
run to start this third quarter for the Capitals. They led by a point at quarter time, trailed by 7 at the main break. And now just a 2-point deficit. Sykes just couldn't find Roof. Smith made sure.
And both teams in this game today are just trying to thread the needle a little bit too much. You can see Sykes on that back cut, but wasn't really open, but trying to make the cut, almost forcing the turnover. And then again, Ruth. Adelaide is similar. They're just trying to thread the needle too much rather than just taking the open look that's there.
They weren't quite all in cohesion there on the inbound either. Wilson hooks around and can't get the hook to go. Talbot got it to Shook. Simons, we know, is a good three-point shooter, and that's a wonderful example of it on cue. Back out to 5. First bucket for Adelaide. Almost 3 minutes played in the third quarter. Sykes one-on-one with Talbot. Oh, nice needle threading pass to Smart, who had no option in the avenue. So kicks it back out to Wilson again. Just trying to force the ball in when maybe the pass wasn't there. Smith took it away from Griffin. Now steps inside the corridor. In the corner, Talbot all alone to make you pay and make you hurt.
And that hurts. And that's a real selfish play from Sam Simons. You know, she just hit her own 3 on the other side of the court, and she could have gone again, but finding her veteran teammate and probably captain and going, yeah, I should probably pass this one, and giving Steph Talbot that open opportunity in the corner.
Another audacious pass attempt. Griffin gets the foot violation. So we just see a replay of that play. Selfish from Simons, as you mentioned, Jen, and Steph Talbot will do the rest. Sykes thought about the jumper from the stripe to Payer, gave it back up to Sykes. Just wraps the bounce pass around, little shimmy, little shake. Right then left from Griffin for 2. Talbot again, back-to-back triples. I think she's airballed that. One of 3. Now make that 1 of 4 for 3. For Steph Talbot, up to 7 points. 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Griffin gave it up to Tapia. 6-point lead Adelaide. Roof Sykes bounces it into Griffin, who forces her way along the baseline. The help came from Smith, who's remonstrating with the umpire. Shook never gave up on her assignment. Talbot can't get ahead of Sykes, so to Shook, and then here comes Alana Smith. The fall away two was always going right the moment it left the hand, and Griffin picks up the board and quickly to Wilson and even quicker to Sykes. Oh, she can shoot that just inside the stripe of the three-point arc. And she drains that. 4-point Adelaide lead. Trading buckets at the minute, these two teams. First v4, Adelaide v Canberra. Shook drops it in. Always shaped up to be going underneath, and the fall away two just misses for Smith, who's still having some trouble, maybe with a knock to the eye. Ruth tries to angle her way in, gets double teamed. Kick out to Paya, gets a look, can't finish. Smith's been really busy. Another rebound for her. Talbot quickly to Werung, who's going to slow it down. Talbot can't get clear of Sykes. Low post for Smith. Oh, Griffin, little hand in. Now the help comes from Wilson. Gets it to drop and will go to the line.
And that's just one of those ones when you've got 4 seconds left on the clock. You just don't want to bail her out. Kelsey had great position and was holding her ground and just didn't need to reach in at the last moment to give those referees any opportunity to call that foul.
Oh, yep. So was it on Griffin or was it on Wilson?
Either way, it's a foul.
Either way. Great point. Great point. I think it's been given to Wilson, who's up to 3 fouls now. Smith can't get the M1. So the lead stays at 6. Smith leading point scorer on the court with 12. Tapaya gets it back from Bunton and now aggressively into the paint. Roof can finish and will. Isn't she having a good game? Now she's the leading point scorer on deck with 13. 4-point Lightning lead. Talbot crosses over on Roof into the corner to Whittle. That's a nice feed. And that's even better from Smith to find Shook.
Good hands from Shook there. That was a bullet pass from Alana Smith on the right hand as we see her trying to go for a steal. And it's a nice deflection that allows Adelaide to set up on the baseline for some defense. But great penetration from here from Smith to Whittle. And then obviously Smith again finding her teammate in Shook for a nice 2 underneath the bucket.
What we all wouldn't give for peripheral vision like that. Lead is 6. Wilson got it from Sykes and up top to Ruth. Says, come at me, Talia. Well, they couldn't hand it off. And she banks a 3. Don't know if she called it, but it doesn't matter.
She's just having one of those games out, and it's a night or an afternoon out for her. She's got 16 points. Not known for her 3-point shooting. Not sure she called that one because it was a bank, but a beautiful game from her thus far. Nice little give and go action from the Adelaide Lightning there.
Career 3-point percentage, I think, is 11%. Well, so there we go.
When you're hot, you're hot.
It's just one of those nights. Can I say the roof is on fire now?
Yeah, probably a little bit.
Yeah, I think I can. Talbot was fouled and can make the margin 4 points with her 13th point. Roof with 16 to lead all comers. And Talbot can't get... Sorry, it was Steph Talbot who got that foul shot. So she's up to 8 now. Sykes in, kicked it out to Paya, knocks this 3 down.
And just simple execution, you know, there's nothing fancy there. They just had some great penetration, got their feet in the keyway, allowed the collapse in the rotation, and allowed Talia an open 3, and she was able to drain it.
1-point ball game.
Oy.
Almost taken away from Werung by Sykes. Sort of awkward angle she got herself in, trying to go through the key. Threw it out, but they're going to get it back.
5 seconds on the clock here as we see the replay. Sykes getting deep, drawing the defense on the weak side, which allowed the collapse, and then Talia Tupea, similar to Adelaide on this end, but how smart was Marina Whittle there to fly in for that offensive rebound and then have the smarts falling out of the court to regain possession.
Wirrong tried to force it to Brooke, who was being really tightly worn by Roof, and Wilson will bring Canberra down the floor, trailing by just 1 point. Adelaide have committed 10 turnovers to 8. Sykes, Wilson, Tupea, back to Wilson. Oh, wanted Bunton going back door. Roof could have taken the shot. Sykes bounces into the lane and finishes on the left.
And you see Caps taking the lead for the first time, I think, since the early stages or the middle stages of that first quarter.
52-51. Dangerous cross-court pass when Sykes is lurking with intent. Wirrong spun into the screen attempt from Brooke and now was too forceful on the right hand. So a little sloppy the last couple of times down the floor for Adelaide. Oh, Bunton had the one-on-one against Baddish. Roof now goes to that on the low post. Bunton heaves it to Wilson. Tupea got one earlier, not this one now. Lead stays at the point for the Capitals. Wilson steals it away. Into the lane. Baddish didn't even go at it. She finishes on the right hand off the glass to give them a 3-point lead with 1:48 left in the third. Timeout called.
And you can just see that experience, or, you know, the veteran status of the likes of Wilson and the Roof, you know, picking up the loose ends for the UC Caps, forcing the Adelaide Lightning to call the timeout. But for me, like I said, that the start of the third quarter, they came out with a different mindset. They increased their intensity a little bit more, put some more pressure on the Adelaide Lightning, and you can see how this is just coming to fruition now as they have a 3-point lead. But that girl on screen, she is having a game out, and probably one of the best I've seen in the UC uniform, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, over her career, averages 11 points, 9 rebounds, and just under 2 assists. So the game at the moment, 16 points, 7 boards, and the assist as well. Interesting, Callie Wilson, the steal she got earlier, has the 2 assists, but has had 5 turnovers in this game. Yeah,
she's been a bit erratic with the ball a little bit, just a little bit too overhead for my liking, and trying to thread that needle a little bit too much. Probably could be a bit more offensive orientated in terms of looking for her own shot a few times. But I've liked the punch that Talia Tupea has brought off the bench. I would love to see Jade Melbourne get a little bit more opportunity. But right now, the tables have turned, and now it's up to Adelaide to see what they can do in this last 2 minutes of the third quarter heading into the fourth.
So 54-51 with timeout with 1:48 in the third. Just 11 points to 21 in favour of the Capitals in this quarter. Wirrong down the floor to Talbot, back to Wirrong. Brooke on the high post. Griffin making things awkward for her. So too Sykes on Talbot. I got the step, did Talbot, but the help came Griffin. Steps back on the long range too, no good. Off a couple of sets of hands, it ends up with Griffin. And to Jade Melbourne now. And a chance to extend this lead. They lead by a point at quarter time, Canberra. 23-15 second quarter. Saw the Lightning with a 7-point halftime lead. Now Sykes couldn't get the angle off the glass over Brooke, but offensive glass from Griffin. Bunton knocks in the mid-range two, and they are out to a 5-point gap.
Bunton knocks in the 2, but you could give credit to Griffin there, I should say, for coming up with the O boards and allowing Bunton that opportunity. Griffin has 9 rebounds now for the game.
That's a delightful feed and find of Brooke underneath. She gets a couple. And up to 7 points. Sykes there. Griffin puts it on the floor. Back out to Sykes. Likes his pull-up shot here, but Brooke says not on this occasion. Little hand in from Baddish. Bunton got it back, and Bunton got 2 and the call.
I've been impressed with Bunton. She's probably seen about 10 to 12 minutes of the game this afternoon, but using her size and obviously her strength, and you know, this is her first return back into the WNBL since having her baby, and then obviously retiring from the Opals and stepping away from that. We know she's endured a lot of injuries, but I think her input tonight off the bench, or this afternoon off the bench, 9 points, she's just been a factor down low. And when you're a factor down low like her and Griffin, it just allows the pressure to come off the shoulders of the guards and gives them more opportunity and space.
Caps by 5. Talbot goes right at Bunton. Couldn't work it in off the window. Ricochets back to her. Quickly out to Werrung. Smith wants the avenue and it's closed down for her. And that's the second 3 that I reckon Taylor Ortlep's knocked down.
And to be honest, they're the first 2 threes that she's taken all season. She hasn't hit one or taken one at all. And nice to see her drain a 3, 2 of 3 from deep.
Her 3rd year at the Lightning was back last year after playing for Boston College in NCAA, and she cut the margin back to 2 points. Still, though, in favour of the Capitals. A quarter to play in Adelaide. 56 Lightning, 58 Capitals. Cannot wait for that. This September, the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup returning to Australian shores for the first time in 27 years. 12 teams, 144 of the world's best players and 38 games across 10 days. The FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup will deliver, without a doubt, plenty of action for Aussie basketball fans. So sign up for first access tickets at womensworldcup.basketball. As we rejoin the action, Sam Hargraves, Jenny Screen with you, and on screen, Chris Lucas, the coach of the Adelaide Lightning, just giving final instructions as they head for home, trailing by 2 points over the Capitals, Jen.
Yeah, they did well to stem the tide and the push from the UC Caps late in that 3rd quarter. They came running and the momentum shifted to the blue. That 3 from Ortlep to end the 3rd quarter just gave them a little bit of an edge and, I guess, breathing room and a little bit less pressure. But, you know, we couldn't have asked for a better 3 quarters from either of these teams. It's been phenomenal basketball. They're pushing each other to the limit. And it's going to go, like I said, all game down to the wire between these two. 25-16 quarter in favour of the Capitals. Michaela Roof has 16 points for them and 7 rebounds. But they just started to get output from everywhere you looked. It was impressive from the Capitals. They shared the love. They have, and everyone that's hit the floor has actually scored. So that's always nice as a coach to be able to put people in and they're contributing. It doesn't always have to be in points. It can be in rebounds and other statistical categories. So that's really good from the UC Caps. Like I said before in the 3rd quarter, loving Bunton's effort. Griffin's doing the small blue-collar work. She ain't scoring like we know she can. She's averaging 60 points a game, just 4 for now. But it's definitely a contest.
Can the Lightning add to this 5-game winning streak? They're going to be made to earn it. Ortlep got the 3 to finish out the 3rd, and she gets one to start the 4th and gives the Lightning back the lead to the tune of 1 point.
Well, damn, for someone that hasn't taken a 3 up until this game, the kid is doing very well. 3 of 4 from deep for the Adelaide Lightning is Ortlep.
Melbourne working around to her left, and that's a lovely little floater from outside the key to give the Capitals back a 1-point lead. So we go blow for blow. That's what we want. Game 2 of a 3-game triple header today. Talbot, Sykes, that's been a great matchup. Werrung on Melbourne, 2 great young guards. Werrung just couldn't get the finish. Did everything else right. Still the Caps by 1. Tapia cautiously over the halfway line. Back from Melbourne to Tapia. Bunton's been good. Melbourne was left alone to try and light it up for 3. Can't get it to go. And Talbot pushes down the floor into the corner. Ortlep again. Why wouldn't you?
And that's just an errant mistake from Jade Melbourne. She saw Ortlep in the corner, but then was distracted by Steph Talbot, who was coming full steam ahead in the transition and the pace phase of that basketball set. But Ortlep, you know, when you're shooting 4 or 5 from deep now, you ain't leaving her at all.
Ortlep, awesome. 2-point Adelaide lead. Sykes in the spin cycle. That was shut down very quickly. Like the power was cut off the dryer, and Tapia gets another 3 for her and for the Capitals. They're back out to 1.
How's the quality of this game from both teams? Some huge shots from both. Tupea, Ortlip's been great. Jade Melbourne had a nice little runner down the lane. You think fatigue would be a factor in this fourth quarter, but right now the basketball is sublime.
So I think we're going to have a timeout called. So Adelaide have got Bendigo up next, and then the Caps have got a two-game series against Southside to come.
Yeah, I mean, and Windsor up for grabs. We know Southside aren't playing a great brand of basketball right now. They just got away with that win today against the Sydney Uniflames up in Sydney. So UC have the opportunity to, you know, stamp their authority or their place in the top four. And you know, when you're on top like the Adelaide Lightning are, every team is coming for you, so nothing's coming easy.
Werung got it from Smith after her and Ort. They've haggled for it, able to roll into the lane and get the foul.
She had the option of taking the pick and roll there with Alana Smith, but chose to take on Kelly Wilson. Werung known for her driving ability and her slash cutting. She's obviously made the move over to Adelaide after being in Victoria for quite some time, and she's a great young junior, loves horses. From Bendigo, I believe, your neck of the wood as well.
Yep.
Bendigo or Ballarat, one of the two.
I have to double check that actually. I normally would know.
But
my Bendigo senses would tingle.
But a great kid.
So Wilson. Roof. 16 points to her name. Back out to Griffin. Britt Smart. Drops a dagger from the deep. He's been shooting well. Shook. Drew two. Smith went past Wilson and just couldn't get the two to go from the stripe. Wilson, had Bunton cutting, but Smith was able to step in front of her, so Wilson didn't take on the pass. Now she gets a screen from Roof. Will she go at Shook? No. Roof inside. Griffin put it on the floor and then left it behind. It'll be a Lightning ball.
Great little give and go and dribble handoff action between the two veterans of the UC Caps here. And then just that unfortunate error that we don't see much from KG 23, dribbling off her foot. No doubt she'll want to get that one back.
Shook hasn't been a huge night for her, turning in and not adding to her 4 points when she's been averaging 9 a game. Abby Werung from Dalesford, not far from Bendigo. Beautiful part of the world, Dalesford. Played a couple of years at the Bendigo Spirit. Started at the Caps and now at the Lightning. Sykes, little handoff, almost came unstuck. And Griffin can't get the three to go as the shot clock winds itself down. Still the Caps by 3 points to level it up. No luck there for Talbot. Smith fighting Roof hard. It'll be a Capitals ball. So we just were trading blows early and now we're just trading misses for the time being, Jen.
Yeah, fatigue's probably setting in where, you know, in the early stages of the fourth quarter, and this is where execution and war of attrition comes down to having an effect on the game.
Wilson harassed by Werung. Oh, you are not going to get that drop step on Alana Smith without a fight.
No, that's always going to be tough. But what I did like is Kelly Wilson came off that pick and roll action with some authority and was willing to take it to the rim. We haven't seen her do that much today. She's being more a facilitator and a passer.
Wilson again into the lane. Roof this time steps out from outside the arc. And is there anything she can't do? And if it was in doubt, it certainly isn't now. The roof is on fire.
Well, it wasn't a three, it was just a long two.
No.
I know, the unfortunate foot on the line. She would have loved another three, but leading all scorers with 18 points and 8 rebounds.
Sykes was absolutely aware of what Talbot was intending for Shook there and said, that's not coming in here. But Lightning will get the ball back. Have a look at this. Is it fair to say, Jen, that you know that a player's feeling it when they're happy to take on the jump back two or jump back shot?
Or the step back, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's probably not her range or what I know of her range to be, probably a bit more 15-foot range, but you know, sometimes when you're just in the zone and you're feeling it, she wouldn't even know, to be honest, that she's probably got 18 points and playing the way she is. She's just doing what is required for her team today.
And at the moment, 5:20 to play. Capitals by 5. It's not a massive lead, but Adelaide have only put the 7 points on in this quarter, and Sykes gets it to 7 points as a timeout's called.
Nice little mid-range jumper there from Sykes. This Horns action is really causing a lot of disruption for Adelaide in terms of their defensive structure. A much-needed timeout from Chris Lucas as we see Sykes enjoying hitting that shot. But for me, it's Adelaide Lightning, that horn set, how are they going to defend that? It could be a three-way switch because you do have Alana and Steph Talbot playing in a lot of those positions, but it'll be interesting to see what Chris Lucas wants from them.
For the youngsters, I'll come back to that question in just a moment. Let's try to have a listen to Paul Goris. So interesting what we can pick up there. They're aware of a couple of maybe tells that the Lightning offense put up when they've got the ball high above their heads. But Jen, you mentioned the hook set. What are you referring to?
Oh, the horn set.
Sorry, the horn set. What are you referring to when you mention the horn set?
Yeah, so for people playing at home, a horn set is when you've got your 4 and 5, your big type players. They come up to the foul line extended, or the elbows, what we call them, the seams, slots. There's so many different variations and names these days. And you're just running a pick and roll off either side. The guard can choose. And that's just been creating havoc in the last couple of minutes for the Adelaide Lightning in terms of how they're defending it.
And they've coughed it up again, the Lightning, under 5 to play. Sykes will bring the Capitals down the floor. She's got 11 points this year. Oh, Ruth quickly got it and gave it. Wilson did everything but drain it. And then Ruth, fighting hard, is having a night. Is having a really, really good afternoon. 20 points now for her. And they've coughed it up again. Whittle turning it over. Ruth involved on that occasion as well. Sometimes when it's your day, it's your day. Sykes was made to put it up in an uncomfortable position. Smith, Wilson stepped in front of her. Smith out, Werung can't finish it off. Fighting hard was Whittle, who threw it back into play. Smith, they need this, and it rattles out. Simons almost. Britt Smart comes up with it. A lot of time taken off that clock. 4 minutes to play, and it's still a 5-point Canberra lead. Griffin made the move to the bucket. Sykes was looking for that. Ruth will hand it off to Smart and then set the screen for Ruth to pull the trigger and drop it from the deep.
Talking about hitting the bottom of the net. You see Caps in this second half. I mean, that 39% for the game you'd be happy with, but I'd love to know their shooting clip from deep for the second half in the third and the fourth quarter.
Just an almost nonchalant sort of turnaround from Simon from the elbows, no good. And this is their biggest lead. 8 points, 12 points the margin. Make that 15. Britt Smart says, have a look at my shooting.
And again, it's that Horns action. They seem a little bit bamboozled, not knowing what they want to do. You can see Ruth here, a little bit of handoff action. This isn't the Horn action I was talking about. This is Brittany Smart's first three-pointer. We've seen the handoff happen action before, but that's the Horns action. Sykes just taking Marina Whittle, who was too open in the lane, and gave it the direct line to the bucket, and then finding her teammate who's known for her three-point shooting in Brittany Smart.
5 of 8 at 63% tonight. 17 points for Britt Smart.
That's probably her best performance I think in this uniform, or one of the best. She only averages normally, 9 points a game and a cup, 1 rebound. Shoots normally at 40%, so we would expect that of her, but she's having a night out. But it's been created by the penetration of the guards. Sykes is one, Kelly Wilson, Tupaia at times have been doing really well. They're collapsing the D, they're drawing the D because they're getting deep into the keyway and allowing the kick out, and the girls are spotting up and they're ready to go, and they're going to give me the dime. I want the rock. I'm going to nail this.
36 years of age, Brittany Smart won a championship in Sweden in 13-14 and was the NAIA Player of the Year when she was at Cedarville University. It was in 2007. Born in Ohio.
Yeah, she's similar to Griffin that we see on screen now. They're the consummate professionals. Even Kelly Wilson, we know we've talked about her competitiveness and professionalism. They're all the same. They're still able to play. They're well into their 30s. And why? Because they look after themselves. It's
getting ugly for the Lightning, 15 points. We saw Southside come back from 15 points down, but that was at the start of a quarter, and Whittle got the foul. Will go to the line for a couple, almost.
Nice little flash cut there for Marina Edel, using her strong physique to get herself to the foul line. Now it'll be interesting to see what they do off the foul line. If they made foul shot, are they going to press full court, challenge, and they've got to do something. They can't sit back and play half court man here. They've got to try and put some pressure on the UC Caps.
That leads 16 points now. Oh, it's getting nasty. Still plenty of time, but they can't really afford to not connect and not get stops. She leaves one out there. In fact, 14 points. Sorry, I took one away rather than gave one on. Important offensive board for Alana Smith off a foul shot. 3 seconds. Losing it was Whittle. It'll be a shot clock violation unless they've called that a foul. She threw it out of play. So a big opportunity goes begging for Adelaide. Sykes has 11 points and 7 assists. Gives it up to Griffin. Wilson weaves her way and tries to back her way in on Werung. Back out to Sykes. Werung shuts it down at the elbow. Double team now. Wrap around pass. Griffin's going to have to get it up. Falling away. Heaves it into the backboard as time expires.
A much needed stop from the Adelaide Lightning, just to try and stem the flow of the power of the scoring punch, I should say, from the UC Caps. But now they've got to be able to convert on the offensive end here.
So crucial moments in this game. Have to string some scores together, Adelaide. That's stating the obvious. Werung, Wilson got the screen from Smith. Werung, nice step inside, just didn't give it enough to get up off the glass, but got her own offensive rebound. And Talbot from long range keeps them in it.
Here we go. They've got to push. They've got to get up. They've got to be disruptive. They can't be sagging back when you're down by 11 points.
Caps looking for their 6th win of the year. Roofs had a season night. Now the fall away, blocked by Smith. It falls to Wilson. She falls away. It rolls out. Sykes, the putback doesn't go. Shot clock expires. 1 minute 30, 11-point margin.
Normally with an 11-point margin, most times 9 out of 10, you go, yep, I've got this. But for some reason, I'm sitting here going, oh, I'm not sure yet. We just need a couple more possessions for the UC Caps just so they can sign it off with the W. But if the Adelaide can get a nice bucket here, a 3 would be great. 8 points is not much in a minute 30.
Werung trying to set them up. They don't have time, really, to not take their chances. Smith trying to get it to Talbot. It's ricocheted to Sykes, and that will be all she wrote. A minute 15 left. The lead is 13. What a fight back this has been from the Capitals. In the corner, jamming in between the ring and the backboard. And we'll have a jump ball.
Got to give credit to the UC Caps. I think they've been phenomenal in the second half. I don't know what was said at halftime by Paul Goris, but their level intensity just went up a little bit in that third quarter. They were more active, defending the one-on-one, jumping to the ball, hands in lanes, and that's just stemmed into their offensive and being our offensive sets and being able to put some runs on the board. So credit to the UC Caps in this second half.
So Wilson with a minute to play and a 13-point lead to protect. Almost taken away from Sykes by Whittle. Oh, now the handle just leaves her in a trail of her dust. Defined on the baseline. Back out to Smart to call it a night. It won't go, but they'll reset at 12 on the shot clock. 40 on the game clock. Sykes working around. Pulls up just inside the arc. Off the back of the iron. And they win it back. So this will be a fantastic win. Taylor Brazel getting some minutes. Couldn't control the rock there. Sykes will let the clock run down as long as she can. 7 points down at the half with Canberra. They dominated the third term. Britt Smart has been lethal from long range, but misses her last two. And that'll do it. The Caps get probably their most important win of the year. Over the top of the table, Adelaide Lightning. They stop a 5-game winning streak of Adelaide. And they sound a warning to the rest of the competition. Factor us in. 80-67 in the end. They restricted the Lightning to just 27 second half points while putting on 47 of their own. Jenny Screen.
Absolutely massive, and I can't wait till we get to interview one of the players, hopefully, and ask to them what was said at halftime, because the mindset that they came out with in that third quarter really set the tempo for what was going to come for them in that third and the fourth quarter. I thought that was sensational. Defensively, which led to them being able to contribute offensively. I thought Bunton had great minutes. Ruth was phenomenal. Smart was able to knock down those threes with her 17 points. They just filled the void, and just got it done. And that's a gritty win away from home against the league leaders. And it just makes for an exciting WNBL season.
Absolutely. So an 80-67 win for the UC Capitals. Arguably their best of the year so far. Against the Lightning at home, who hadn't lost a game since losing their season opener. Brittany Smart was absolutely deadly. 5 of 10, but missed a couple late, but to still finish up at 50% from the deep. 17 points for her. Michaela Ruth was phenomenal. 20 points and 10 rebounds. A double-double for her. Steph Talbot had 11 points and 8 rebounds. Lana Smith, 12 points and 8 rebounds. And let's get to Michaela Ruth, who had an absolutely superb afternoon. 8 of 12 from the field, 67%. A double-double, Michaela, but more importantly, what a fight-back win. 7 points down at the half, and you guys never gave up hope, and you absolutely turned the game on its heads. It was a great win.
Yeah, definitely. I think, we came out with a focus on defense, and I think we were able to stick with the defense in the second half.
Michaela, Jenny Screen here. I'm just wondering, what was said at halftime from Paul Goris? Because from my perspective, you came out with a certain level of intensity in that third quarter that we hadn't seen for the first 20 minutes. What was said?
I just think we wanted to really pick it up on defense. Our defense we thought wasn't great, and then offensively we were trying to make really tough passes that weren't on. So we were just like, make the easy pass, move the ball, and I think we were really able to do that in the second half. Talk
about someone that was on. It was yourself. Were you in the zone? Because there was a shot there that obviously that bank three in front of the bench of the Adelaide Lightning. Did you know that that was happening, or are you just like, I'm having a game out tonight, and when I catch it, I'm going to let this thing go? Because you were superb.
Oh, thank you very much. I think in shoot-around and stuff yesterday, my shot actually felt good, so I think I came off of a decent game against Sydney as well, so I had a bit of confidence coming into it. I definitely wasn't trying to bank it, but the bank was open, so I was pretty happy with that.
And talk about someone that's another phenomenal shooter in your team is Brittany Smart, fellow American. She was lights out from deep, 17 points, and instrumental in that third and fourth quarter as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Not only is she a fellow American, but we're both from Ohio, so, go Bucks.
Shout out to Ohio.
She, I think, I think anytime she's on the court, I just try to find her. I think we all try to find her. We know she's a great shooter, so she can get her feet set. It's in like a layup. It's like Steph Curry.
And Michaela, what does it mean to get a win against the top of the table side? And just remind everybody that you guys are a force along with those teams like Adelaide and like Perth.
You know, it felt really good. You know, we weren't trying to like go against, oh, they're number one, we want to beat them. We just wanted to get another win. And we thought, you know, the last time we played them, they came out and embarrassed us on our home floor. So, you know, we wanted to kind of, you know, get some revenge on them. So I think we were able to do that tonight.
Well, absolutely. You were absolutely sensational as well. Enjoy the win. Congratulations on it and good luck with the games to come. A couple against Southside, which will be really tightly fought contests as well. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Michaela Roof, go Bucks. Ohio State Buckeyes, I reckon she's referring to there. But what a night she had. 8 of 12, 67% from the field and the 10 rebounds as well. So a double-double for her, a couple of steals as well. And 2 assists. She contributed in every facet of the game, and these are the numbers that matter from a team point of view.
Yeah, I know. That interview, I thought she would have been a little bit more excited with her performance. I mean, I would. Damn, she played exceptionally well, and one of the main reasons they won tonight, but this afternoon. But in this match stats, for me, I thought the rebound count was the difference in that second half, I should say. 41-38. Lightning were leading, and then those turnovers. Adelaide actually averaged 17. We spoke about in the first quarter or at the start of the game. And they just were a little bit error-prone with the ball in that fourth quarter, which led to, you know, the UC Caps being able to come away with a strong and emphatic win away from home at the Adelaide Lightning court.
Yeah, a sensational effort and a really high-quality game too. I mean, the tempo of it and the skill level on display, worth the price of admission and more.
Oh, sensational game. That's what we want to see in the WNBL. Tough, fought contest. 67 points to hold the league leaders to that is exceptional, and I know Paul Goris would be happy with that. And then to score 80 points of your own, sensational performance from the UC's Caps. Now they've got to hold that and harness that performance, take away the positives, and use that against the Southside Flyers, which could potentially be 2 wins for them in the coming round.
So early today it was the Southside Flyers over the Sydney Uni Flames, and then we've done that game and this game of the triple header today. We're going to hand it over soon to Ben Waterworth and Steph Blixars, but what are you expecting from Townsville and Melbourne?
A heated contest, a battle. I think Townsville are playing some exceptional basketball. I love the way that their coach up there, Lauren Nicholson, is having a phenomenal season. Zatina Akuzo is coming into her own form. I think she's getting fitter and fitter with games. So they're going to be tough to beat Townsville today.
Always great to spend an afternoon with you, Jen. Thank you very much.
It's been a heated one. We've had 2 great games to start the WNBL Sunday, and don't go anywhere. I think the next game is going to be just as good.
Absolutely. It'll be Townsville and Melbourne after this. Ben Waterworth, Steph Blixars. Early today, Southside got it done, coming from behind over Sydney Uni Flames. And in the middle game, it was an 80-67 win for the UC Capitals over the Adelaide Lightning, stopping their run of 5 games on the bounce. So big win for the Caps and still some big action to come of WNBL. Enjoy it. Have a great afternoon and a great evening. Stay safe.